You know, I actually watched this a bit late. Later than I wanted to. I should have had this out maybe 2 or 3 hours ago. But I woke up late. Ate breakfast late. Had some stuff to do. It was late. And then I sat down to watch All Out. And guys, you see the title. I'm not going to I know there's going to be people that's going to be saying something in the comments that you do not understand wrestling. Yes, I do. I'm probably older than most of you being alive right now. And of course, my opinion is only one of a huge crowd of people. But you came here to my channel to get a different perspective on things. And I am going to give you a fair perspective of what we got in All Out. And I want to make this again clear, like I did with WrestlePalooza. It was not about the match quality. It wasn't. Now, mind you, they did go obsessive to certain things, obviously. But if you look at the match quality, in general, all the matches were good matches. They were fine. But due to the fact of one glaring weakness AEW has and no one wants to accept, because I've seen most people are screaming that, hey, you don't understand wrestling, this is perfect. It's not. AEW was different when it first started. It was tag team wrestling that morphed into something that was a mix between ROH and New Japan Pro Wrestling. And as you guys know, New Japan Pro Wrestling isn't doing great in America. When it comes to ROH, it doesn't exist anymore. It belongs to AEW because it went under. Not because of the pandemic. It was because it was not as popular as many people thought it was. And that's the truth. That is the God-honest truth. Or in my case, the Great Spirit's truth. It does make a difference. It didn't last, not because of the pandemic, but because its interest went from here to here. And that's the truth. If you like, and I want to make this clear to anyone who watches this show, I am giving you a fair assessment of the show as it was. If you like the show, there's no problem. Everyone always loves a bad movie. And I've learned this from somebody. That he said it the best. He said it clearly. He's from Geeks and Gamers. You may not like Jeremy because of his point of view, because he's a Republican. I'm independent. I don't give two damn flips of either party. I don't trust either party. That's the only thing I'll say about my own views on things. I don't trust the parties. But you can still learn something from either party if you're willing to listen. Jeremy, as a Republican, said it best. You can love a bad movie. There's nothing wrong with loving a bad movie, but you have to be honest. When it's a bad movie, it's a bad movie. But there's nothing wrong with loving it or liking it. And when you look at All Out, half the show I did not care about. Not because of the match quality. I'm making it clear again. It's not about the match quality that was thrown out there. Yes, they had a lot of blood, but that's not it. No stories. Almost no stories to no stories at all. And what stories they had were very small. And whatever stories they did have that was being developed seemed like they weren't willing to go through with it. Now, mind you could say, dude, what about Dynamite? They may show it on Dynamite. Hell, what about Collision? They may show, yeah, they could. But it should have been done here. Let's open. And I did not see 0 Hour, so I'm not reviewing 0 Hour. I didn't watch it. Opening, FTR versus Cope and Christian. Let's make it very clear. I had care for this because I wanted to see how the crowd was going to respond being in Toronto. There's no way they wouldn't. There's no way that you wouldn't go crazy for Cope and Christian. And they did. And hearing them say, he's your daddy, or he's your father, and hearing he's an asshole, that showed that they're very over. Christian feels more over than Cope is. And Cope is playing along with Christian. This is the thing that many people don't understand when it comes to pro wrestling. It is not about the matches. It's about the character development of the person that goes with the matches and the story they can tell not only in the ring, but outside the ring when they got a damn mic in their mouth. Well, not in their mouth, but in front of them. Look at Christian. Since he came in, everyone did not give two damn fucks about Christian when he first came in. They thought it was going to be somebody else. But Christian came in, and he's one of the most over wrestlers they have in this company, who is nearly 50 or over 50. No, near 50 or over 50. I can't remember how old Christian is. I think he might be a little bit younger than me or just around my age. He's a little bit younger than me. I think he's in his late 40s, about to turn 50. But a near 50-year-old wrestler is so over with the fans, not just because they're in Canada, but in general shows you how the development of the creative is. There should be more people. But Christian, someone who was never known to be one of the greatest wrestlers in the business, he had to be great with Chris Jericho, because he worked with him, and Edge. He's been known to be great between them both. And yes, he was great in TNA, and I did see some of his work in later years and repeats. So I always liked Christian because he was different. But seeing him here, I think this is his best work. He's so damn over. And FTR, who is not over, who feels empty because they have not booked them correctly. They should be more important. Hell, they should be doing something special with the Hurt Syndicate, who are no longer the champs. And I'll get to that four-way match later, but you get my point. The match was fine. Let me give it to you like this. We've known that sooner or later, they have to do something about Beth Phoenix. Beth. Everyone's been wondering, when will Beth come to AEW? Will she be there as a one-off, or will she come and do a contract with her husband? You gotta answer. Stoke has been interfering. Stoke has been causing trouble. And Beth comes out, clotheslines his ass, and then carries him to the back. Wonderful. She finally shows up. Now, at the end of the match, you got Cope pinning, who was it? It was Cash, not Dax, Cash. And it was fine. You got Beth coming out, standing with a man. You get a hug to the asshole Christian who doesn't want it. And then you get Nick Wayne with his mommy, with the big knockers, coming out. And then you see Kip attacking them from behind. FTR helps out. You get Cope chained with a handcuff. And then he's telling Beth, get out of the ring, quickly, get out, because they were heading straight at her. Not him, her. They got him chained. She leans in, gives him a kiss. I believe I got a shot at him right before she turns and attacks FTR directly. She kisses him and says, I love you. Turns around and starts trying to whoop the ass of Dax and Cash. She's wailing on them until they give her pretty much a package. What was it? No, not a package pile driver. Spike pile driver? Where they're working together. And she's laid out. Done. Now, this story gets interesting. Because legitimately, I was not feeling too much this story between FTR and Cope and Christian. I just wasn't, because of how badly booked FTR has been. But now that they've taken out not Cope or Christian, they've now hit Beth. Now it's going to get interesting. Hopefully, we will see Beth more during the show. And even though it does worry me, because I do not expect Beth to be booked correctly, if she is signed, and that's if she's signed for a short-term contract or the same length as her husband, maybe she wanted to have the same type of contract as her husband to be able to wrestle and to have the expiration date with him, never know, she may go into the women's division. And to be honest, I wouldn't be too surprised they do it. And weirdly enough, and I do believe this is going to be weird enough, she's going to get over more than anyone there in a short time. But will they book her correctly while she does it? I do not know, and I don't think so. This is my gut feeling. I don't think I'm going to book them. But if I'm going to be objective, I just don't know. I just don't believe they will. That's my gut feeling. But we don't know how they're going to book her. Because legitimately, if she's signed, Cope may book her. Christian may book her. And she may have her own creative control as well. They may give her, well, Tony will give her creative control because that's what it comes down to. If she has no creative control, they're going to book her like everybody else. But if she's staying and she is booked by Cope or Christian or all three of them, that she's booked along with Cope, along with Christian and herself, you will have people caring more about her because Christian and Cope will not let her be booked like shit. Moving on. Next match. And this one I really cared about because finally he's back. The one person that was the most over, that could have been champion a long time ago. You could have made him TNT champion. You could have made him world champion. Either one, he would have dominated not because of his ring work, but because of his character development. And that's Eddie Kingston. Eddie's been gone for 16 months. Like he had ACL, MCL, and a broken leg to go with it. And he's been gone for 16 months. And now he's back. Guys, see him against Big Bill, it doesn't really matter to me. Hearing that this was a story about two New Yorkers who were having this feud together, fine. It's alright. They had to give him something easy to begin. But what makes this better, legitimately, is not about him beating Big Bill, which was a fine match. It wasn't one of the greatest matches I've ever seen with Big Bill. And seeing that this is his first match back, Eddie seemed a bit winded. And that's not surprising because you can do all you want in cardio, but until you get into the ring and really go all out of it, and I'm not trying to reflect the name of the title of the video, you get my point. He was a bit winded. When he gets back into it, he should be better. But it was not about that. When you see that Brian Keefe attacks Eddie after the match is over, and I do agree with Excalibur that I was a bit surprised that Brian Keefe would attack him, because yeah, he can just stare at him. That would have been better. But seeing him attack, I'm thinking they got to do something. It just kind of sucks like this because he'll be by himself. He's going to go up against Brian Keefe, and he'll be dealing with Big Bill again. It kind of sucks until Hook's music hit. Then I thought, lightning in a bottle. For me personally, I don't know about anybody else. You know why? When you look at Hook, you almost look like you're staring at an earlier version of Eddie Kingston. Hook has a certain attitude, not too different from Eddie Kingston. He don't give two damn flips. He will pay no attention to anybody. He wants respect once he proves it. And if you don't give it to him, he wants to kick your ass. That's Hook in a nutshell. And Hook comes out, helps out, and now, supposedly, they're together. Now, either he's going to mentor him or he's going to tag with him or both. And to be honest, I'm agreeing with this. I am actually happy to see this. Now, I didn't hear Taz say much about this. Maybe he will elaborate on Dynamite about how he feels about Eddie working with his son. Because maybe I missed it, but I didn't really hear him say when he came back, went to the commentary table when Bryan Danielson left. I might have missed it. I went to the bathroom. But when I came back and watched the rest of the video, I didn't hear it. I might have missed it. I don't know. But I'm telling you this. It will be interesting to see how Taz feels about Eddie Kingston, another New Yorker, working with his son that he knows can do the business. And during that match, seeing that Bryan Danielson put him over was a good thing to see. Next, the match that I didn't care about. And I know you're going to say, what? I'm being honest here. When it came to the tables and tax match between MJF and Mark Briscoe, I didn't care. I didn't. You know why? It's not the point that I don't care about Mark Briscoe or about MJF. I love those guys. I do. It's that the feud makes no sense because of one damn factor. The contract. That damn contract was the factor that made me not care about this damn match. Because if you're going to make MJF go away from Hangman Page, there has to be a reason. You got to do something to make MJF mean something. Because the way they booked it to get him to that point where he was going against Hangman Page the first time and not use the contract, Made no sense. So he managed to keep that contract, and now he's feuding with a Mark Briscoe, and he has the damn contract, and Mark doesn't say, well, I want this match. Give me this match. He says, no. Well, you know what? You don't give me that match, I'm going to plague you until you give me the match. And then when it comes down to it, and it's kind of hard to make this work, because if Mark is demanding this match and MJF is not wanting this match, if it was reverse, you could have Mark Briscoe say, look, the only way I'll do this match is that you put your contract on the line. That would have made sense. In this situation, if Mark Briscoe went to Tony Khan, and I saw Dynamite, and I'm being like, and I didn't review it, but I did watch it, and you got him talking with Tony Khan, and Tony does not include as a stipulation that you're going to do this damn tack and tables match, and your contract is on the line because you want to be a damn coward. That made me go, okay, I don't care. Because the only reason they should be together is because of that damn contract. Because didn't MJF say it himself? You screwed me out of my original match. I screwed you. Now we're having this damn match, and I'll do anything to get my hands on you. But it should be, since Tony Khan made the match, because Mark asked for the match, he should have included the damn contract. It made no damn sense. Now the match itself. We got, from the very beginning, we got nothing but tacks in the ring. Yeah, we got tables outside. But they decided, Mark and MJF, to just throw tacks all in the ring, and they will work inside the tacks. And at one point, where he's got that 13 tattoo on his neck, I thought when I saw some blood, I think I'll show the image, is in my face. I'm not going to do a lot of images here, guys. I'm just doing the video itself. But I'm going to show it to you, and you can see some blood in his neck. I thought, because of how quick it was, that he might have cut his neck open. And I'm going, wait a minute, if he was cut his neck open, he'd be bleeding heavily. So it was just blood, so it was very good. But you can tell, as they were going through this match, they were raking their bodies. MJF sticks his face into a big load of tacks. MJF, when that's the Mark. And Mark's slamming him onto the mat multiple times. I'm going to say this. It's not a bad match if you care about a hardcore match. Because you don't normally see a tag match on national or international television often. You don't. And particularly it's going to be on Max right now. HBO Max. Seeing it there. I believe it's HBO Max. I believe so. But the point is, you don't normally see it like this. And the key here is, it was a lot of blood, it was a lot of gore, as most people would see it. But Mark won. Let me say that again. I know you already know. But when I saw it, I'm like, what's the point? What's the point of letting Mark win without the damn contract on the line? I don't know about anyone else. Maybe they were fine with it. I don't know what JD said. I didn't watch. I don't know what Alex. I don't know what Solomonster. I don't know about when it comes to Fightful.com or Fightful, the channel. I don't know if they liked the match. And to be honest, the match was fine. I didn't hate it. But the booking to lead there made no sense. He should have had the contract on the line for that title shot. And if he wasn't going to put the title on there, the best and only option would be for him to win, so he would still look at least decently strong when he goes up against Page again with that damn contract. But no, he loses. It makes no sense. Moving on. Next match, we get another match that Jimmy didn't care about, and this was a triple threat: Gates of Agony and Ricochet versus the Hurt Syndicate, with MVP doing a match. He looked good. You don't see MVP wrestling often. It's very rare he wrestles, because it's always going to be Shelton, it's always going to be Bobby. But seeing MVP is still in good enough of shape that he can go in the ring pretty decently. Not saying he was going great. He would look good. He looked alright. And the match itself was fine. Seeing they were mostly fighting outside the ring, and doing a little bit of cheating a little bit on the Gates of Agony side. Fine. You see Ricochet pinning, who did he pin? MVP. What he was about to do the Claymaker, which I haven't seen that move in a while, and I would have liked to see him do it, but once you see Tola, I believe Tola Lora, he chop blocked him, and then the Spirit Gun to the face ended it. I know it's not going to end. And I'm going to say this right now, as it stands for this match, this is a Dynamite match. I'll say it again, this is a Dynamite match. This shouldn't have been on the show. This match should have never been on the show. It shouldn't have. It should have never happened. It should have been on Dynamite. Because then at least on Dynamite you can progress the story that way. Because you can have MVP say something afterward saying that, Ricochet, boy, you're done. The Hurt Syndicate likes to hurt people, and now we're going to hurt you. This is not going to end until we want it to end. That would have made sense after the match. We didn't get that. We didn't get a follow-up after the match, because that would have made sense, but nothing there. Moving on. The next match, I also didn't care about. Riho versus Mercedes Moné. It was a good match. I want to make this clear. All the matches were either good or very good. But there's no story. Why do you care about Riho? I'm asking you. Leave a comment below. Don't say, dude, you don't understand anything. Ask me why you care about Riho. Other than that she was the first champion. What did she do to give her the opportunity to do a match? That she attacked Mercedes? Tell me. What did she do to earn that title shot? Nothing. What did we get with Mercedes and Riho? Just old footage of Riho becoming the first champion and going after Mercedes. I'm legitimately like, what am I caring about here? What do I care about? Just the clear match itself? Look, opening of the show, opening this match, fine, okay. It was fine seeing it was good, and also seeing, and I think I might add this picture in, that you see Mercedes walking down with 8 male models with her titles around her on their waist. This shows you how little Mercedes means. This is just quantity when it comes to Mercedes, not quality. And it's killing me. Guys, it's killing me. I love Mercedes. I honestly do. But seeing she has 8 freaking titles, and the only storylines that we ever had with her was with Camille. When Camille was on TV, and she's not. And I'm like, where's the story behind her and Riho? I look at this, and I'm like, Mercedes needs to drop that damn title now. Because she needs to chase somebody. Honestly, the only person that made any sense would have been easily, to me, if she was still part of the company, of course, Saraya. But they never even had a match together. Not one. Saraya was barely seen on TV after Mercedes came on, and we've never seen a match with them, not on Dynamite, and I don't even think they even had a match on Collision either. Saraya would have been the only person that would have made sense to really make a real story, because in real life, Saraya was the last person she was in a match with before she had to retire. And that would have been a real valid story. And honestly, it just feels empty. Riho didn't win. Like, I knew she wasn't going to win. Now what? We still have Mercedes holding on to that damn TBS title, and it feels empty. I'm just saying, moving on. Next match. We get the Undisputed title, where there's now, again, 3 titles. The Undisputed title, the International title, and the Continental title still being shown, which makes no sense. Why isn't it just one title? Again, they're still doing the stupidness where they're trying to tease, well, these titles can be split apart again, which is stupid. But what did we get when it came to Okada, when it came to a Kateska, when it came to Mastriana Dorada, and who is the last person? That's it. I felt nothing. Mastriana Dorada, he's an interesting wrestler from CMLL. I'm interested to see if they do anything with him. But I know they won't, because they never booked their Mexican wrestlers properly. CMLL wrestlers feel empty. They do. They feel completely blank because we don't build any stories with them with our regular wrestlers. They're just all spots. And I would have liked to see a little bit of story with him. You don't have to show total footage of every CMLL match he's been in, but at least give me something. Have a translator talk for him. Give me something to make him feel important. And I didn't feel anything. Kateska and Okada, there is a story there, but it's so brief. Let's make it very clear. It's a brief story that feels so half-baked. I didn't care. And I should have cared. If it's not going to be about Dorada and it's about Kateska and Okada, fine. Build a reason why Kateska and Okada is having this issue. Give them segments by themselves where either one of them interrupts, or when they have a match, either one of them just appears unknown. I know people are going to say, dude, that's already happened. Too far in between. Or did you forget, for most of that time, it has been months when they had those type of situations. Remember, Kateska went to the climax, G1 climax, earlier this year. He has barely been in AEW. So that little bit about them already having has been so many months separated. So when you start trying to do this so quickly, it feels rushed. And being rushed, that means there's no real story, and I don't care. So that's why Okada retains. And yes, they're still having their problem, and pretty much Don doesn't want to admit that the Alpha and the Rainmaker don't want to deal with each other, and the Alpha wants to rip someone's head off, but it still feels very half-baked. Moving on. Coffin match. I did care about this. I cared about what was going to happen, and it was a good match. There was a lot of blood. You got blood again when it came to Moxley. You see that Allen was trying not only to maim him, he was trying to cut his ear open, which he cut him somewhere back here. He didn't really cut him in the ear. He just cut himself right here. And that's where it was bleeding. But the thing for me was, I'm feeling that Allen might win, but I had a feeling something might happen. I didn't know what it was, because I don't look at dirt sheets. Pac came back. And that made me very happy because he was hurt for quite a while and he's finally back, and it makes me happy. But the thing that got me, because I did see the interview between him and Bryan Danielson when he asked for a favor. And what did we get? And I do believe I'm going to put this in my face. Bryan Danielson puts under the commentator table a bag, a duffel bag. And he grabs it, pulls it out so Darby Allin can see it. And they're asking, what are you doing? He says, I'm not doing the damn thing. I'm not doing anything. I'm not getting involved in anything. And you see Darby Allin go into that bag and grab a plastic bag, jumps into the ring and tries to 100% just asphyxiate a Moxley. I think I'll put this also on my face. One of a few more. That makes 4 images. Honestly, when you see this situation, it makes perfect sense. It actually makes sense what they're doing. And you can hear the fans cheering for this to happen. And then Pac came out. And then it was over. Moxley managed to win. Death Riders came out. Moxley managed to win. And you can hear, 100%, you can hear Bryan Danielson so upset when he gets basically razor's edge over the top turn rope onto the other coffin and cracks that sucker. And pretty much he's carried out with the rest of the Death Rider. Well, the Death Riders carrying him out in a coffin. What we get at the end of that entire segment and show was Moxley was with him. Basically, he was still in the coffin. He tells the Death Riders, tells them to go, because I'm going to be with Allen. I'm going to be with him. And Alan managed to get out of the bag. He hits a Moxley with that pipe that he had. And then he did the one thing I didn't expect him to go that far with. He's wrapped up in the same body bag. He sprays him, the bag, with, it looks like black spray paint. And then he sets it on fire. And then they had put him out really quickly with the CO2. But I'm like, okay. You had a decent coffin match, which I found to be pretty good. Then you bring back Pac, which was fine. Then you set Moxley on fire, briefly. Where does this end? Where? Not that I am complaining 100% about it not ending yet, because it is a decent story that Moxley really hurt Allen. Not only getting a chance at the world title, but also whooping his ass multiple times and pretty much laying him out multiple times. And he is sick of it. He wants to destroy Moxley. But knowing the Death Riders are there, Moxley will never get whipped. So where does this eventually end? What type of match are they going to use to end this? And that's going to be the big question. Is it going to be a big match which got to culminate in Moxley going away? I'm saying it now. Moxley needs a break. Moxley has been on the go for more than 2 years. At least a year to two easily. Ever since what happened with CM Punk, what happened with the incident with the Bucks and Tony Khan showing the video, the story with the Bucks, then he took it over, and now the ending of this entire situation. Where it is now. It's been easily more than a year to a year and a half. I think bordering on 2 years, but it easily could be argued a year and a half. He needs to go away. He needs to take a break and go away. He's reached a point where he must go away to take a break, not just for his body and his mind, but let the fans take a break from him and let the rest of the Death Riders do whatever they want to do. That's just me, guys, and below. Now, the 4-way for the Women's Championship. Statlander, Tekla. Let me give it to you like this. Did I believe Jamie Hayter was going to win? Hell no. Did I believe that... Look, I don't hate Hayter. I don't hate Tekla. But if you're going to be honest, there was only one person there that made any sense with any story, and that is Chris Statlander, and the teasing of her possibly joining the Death Riders. If Toni Storm retained, the only thing that made any sense in my mind would be for Chris Statlander to turn heel and join the Death Riders. Now, of course, I'm saying this honestly. When you look at Chris Statlander, her story arcs have been going up and down, which some parts have been alright, other parts have been sucky. Possibly joining the Death Riders would help to reinvigorate her. But if she was going to do this, she needed something. If she was going to turn to the Death Riders, she needed to lose. And if she won, she needed to see Wheeler Yuta. She won that match in a roll-up. But we did not see Wheeler Yuta when it was over. We did see it when he came out after she did. He came out right after everyone else got into the ring, and he's cheering her on. But when she won, the only one that came out was Harley Cameron. Look, I like me Harley Cameron. She's a gorgeous looking woman. Yeah, she's got character taken away from how big her boobs are. She can do ventriloquism. Finally got it right. She can sing. I don't know if she can dance. And her tits are big. There's no way you can deny she's got a lot going for her. But what I expected wasn't just her. I expected Wheeler Yuta to come out. I expected Wheeler Yuta to interact with her. I expected Wheeler Yuta to convince her, join us, and lay out a Harley Cameron. Now, I'm sure you're going to say, well, dude, maybe that's going to be on this Dynamite. It would have been better here. It would have been better here. Because at this point, now that Storm has dropped the title and she's in shock, you can focus on Storm's shock, but then you can focus on Chris Statlander's, her turning as Storm has shock. But we didn't get that. Now, could we get it on this Dynamite? Yes, we could. But it'll feel late because you should have did it here. Because it would make more better sense that she believed in Wheeler Yuta, who she's no longer, than Harley Cameron, who feels like she's on her coattails. Next, the match I did not care about. The four-way in the ladder match. The four-way ladder match for the tag titles. I didn't care. Look, did I believe the Bucks were going to win? Maybe. But the way they're being booked right now, I just don't think that's what they want to do. They want to turn the Bucks face. And them winning will not make them turn face. So I didn't expect them to win. Did I believe that Jet Speed was going to win? No. There was no way they were going to win. There was just no way. No. Then, when it comes to the Don Callis family, when it comes to Josh Alexander and Hetrocero, did I believe they were going to win? No, because they have never won anything, and they don't feel very legitimate. Because what happens? Hetrocero and Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander goes with Kateska. Or you can have Kateska work with Lance Archer. Very rarely, but generally you do it. They keep switching out people so much they don't feel like a tag team. Due to the fact that Don Callis family is so large, you don't focus on keeping the same people together. I'm just saying. But the match wasn't a bad match. At certain points, I think someone might have gotten actually hurt. When I saw that Bandito was given that ladder by Brody King near the end of the match, and he does a backflip off one of the turn posts onto Hetrocero and to Josh Alexander, I'm like, someone got hurt. There is no way that someone didn't just get hurt. And hopefully not seriously. I think at one point, Hetrocero got an Ultimo Dragon from Speedball Mike Bailey, and he might have smashed his hand in the damn ladder when it came down on him. And I'm actually surprised that I don't even know if he didn't break his toes. Because if you watch the replay, when it came to Speedball Mike Bailey, one of his toes got caught in between there, and he came down full force. He could have broken his toe easily. He seemed to be all right, but we don't know yet. At least I don't know. I didn't check. But damn, that was some bad things that could have happened. But the champs won. And it's because people like them as a tag team. That's the only reason. They still don't show a lot of character, but they are a team that was stuck together because they didn't have any idea what to do, either one of them. That's working. Last but not least, the final match that I somewhat cared about. Because just like Chris Statlander, I somewhat cared about it. This is a match I somewhat cared about, and that's Kyle Fletcher versus A. Hangman Page. I'm going to be honest here. At first, I did not care because it made no sense for MJF to go off with Mark Briscoe. I still don't understand why they did it. It makes no sense. But they decided they wanted to try Kyle Fletcher in the main event. Now, I like Kyle Fletcher. I think he looks good in the main event. But due to the fact that he hasn't had great booking after he's dealt with Kenny, after he's dealt with a Will Ospreay, I'm like, okay. The story that he had when he went up against Dustin really sucked because of what happened with Adam Cole. Adam Page. Adam Cole. Because he's got concussion again. And he doesn't know if he's able to come back. That's the reason why Dustin got the title. And then they decided, instead of leaving it on him for a while, they put it on Kyle. They went hot potato. I would have liked to see Dustin have a run with it for a while before he had to hand it to somebody else. They didn't even bother to give him a couple of weeks to a month. At least a month or two. They gave him maybe a week or two, and then they dropped it right over to Kyle. And that sucks. But he has tried his best to make it mean something, and I do commend him. And they decided to give him this match. Did this match mean anything? No. And that upsets me. You see, when you look at Hangman Page, he is a good champion, but he doesn't feel like he's been done correctly book-wise. Yes, when it came to how he's been booked, he has had a good rise becoming what he is. But now he's here. He's got to have people that are at least here or at his level to make him feel important. The one person that felt truly important, that can truly have a feud with, or at least have a match here that made the best sense. If it's not MJF, guess who? Swerve Strickland. That's the thing that makes no sense. The person that would have been the best here and I know Swerve is hurt, but the best person that would have been here is Swerve because he's the only other person next to MJF that has been developed correctly. But due to the fact, you got Hangman Page here, you got Swerve here, you got MJF here, and everyone else are here. Here. And they shouldn't be here. They should be booked better so they can be, if anything, like with Swerve, he had to leave because he's injured. There should be people not here, but here. Just below that if you need to insert them because of a situation, like we're having Hangman Page, not Hangman Page, but Adam Copeland. Oh, I'm thinking Adam Copeland. You got Adam Hangman Page, Adam Copeland, and Adam Cole. You got three Adams, and I'm forgetting which one is which. Adam Cole getting injured. There was no one developed to take his spot as TNT champion, and they just threw it onto Dustin with no plan, and instead of at least letting him have it for a couple of months before you let him drop it so he can be built up. So when he drops it to somebody, it at least feel legitimate. No, you make him drop it within a few weeks to Kyle Fletcher. And now you see him with Hangman Page. And yes, he's done a decently good job as TNT champion. His development has been good. He's got good ring work. He does talk well. He holds himself well. He's working with Don Collins that can be a good mouthpiece. He's in a big faction. But his development has been very short. Unlike if Swerve has been functioning, he would have been the best person. But if there was no way to use Swerve and Kyle is here, and he should be here, he's here. The only other person that was available, MGF, who is at the same level, and then they swerve away from him, to speak. And it's like, why? The match was fine. I'm very satisfied at how well he works the match and his attitude. So he loses the match. And I'm fine with that because that's a good sign that people had reacted to him. So if he becomes a contender again for the World Championship, I could buy him now. But here's the thing. He was here. Guys, he should be here. Hangman's supposed to be here. Swerve is here. MVF is here. He's here. Shouldn't he be here? Shouldn't they have other people that are here? And they're not. Eddie Kingston just came back, and even though he never held the World Championship or the TNT title, you know where he is before he left? He was here. He wasn't at the main event, but he was well developed enough that people would love him and see he could become champ. And I'm like, this shows you how bad the booking is. That they just do not develop the people correctly. And out of all these matches, all of them, how many did I like? 2. No, 3. How many did I like out of the 10 matches? 3 matches. How many matches I thought was so liked? 2. How many did I not like? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 matches I didn't like because of no development, and one of them should have been on Dynamite. And this is just me. Hope you enjoy this All Out. And I want to say this again before they say you don't care about AEW. I do. I'm giving you a fair assessment of how they developed the characters and what happened during the matches. A story. All the matches were fine. They told a good story. But it's more than just being in the ring to do the good stories. You need to have story outside the ring to give you a reason to care when they go into the ring and tell the other half of it. Peace.